Hi dancers, Steve Fitz here, and today I wanted to share with you a competition dance from Swingsation. I got to dance with Sharyl from Singapore. It was an awesome dance, it was in the heats, and I thought maybe I'll have a look at the video and sort of talk through some things that happened in the dance, but also in general talk about my feelings about competitions and maybe chime in on some of the opinions that I hear going around about competitions and some of the pros and cons in the way that it makes people feel. So this is Sharyl from Singapore. She's an amazing dancer. I thought I would actually critique her dance in this video. Just kidding. I'm going to have a look at things that I did. Sharyl's amazing and this was so much fun to dance with her. Very lucky to draw her in the prelims. But I am going to critique some things that I did. Moments like this, and one of the great things about reviewing your video of your competition dances is that you can see it, kind of learn from it, and take some things away. So I thought I'll look at what I did and what I was controlling in this dance, and give myself some critique. So going forward I can improve, but also share the way that I sort of view what I did. So I'm going to let the video play through, and then after it's played through and you've seen it once, I will go back and then I'm going to critique different areas of the dance.
Go, Sharyl! Go, Steve!
Fantastic.
So right at the start of the dance, Semion once said to me, you know, it's good just to transfer your weight when you're in closed hold and see how your partner is responding. Are they coming with you? Are they moving in time? Can you feel their connection? And establish that. And so that's the way that I've begun.
Connecting with each other and communicating, adapting to each other, not in the pattern, but outside of the pattern, during your extensions, during your groove and pulse, when you simply use weight transfer, before you go into the pattern, or after the pattern, or in the middle of your pattern. That's what I highly recommend for you. Using extensions not only to hit the music, not only to groove and pulse, because the music is asking you to do it, but also because it's a great tool to communicate to your partner and connect and adapt to your partner, collaborate your weight transfer, your connection with your partner, and the position or the frame or everything.
This dance is I'm just sort of rocking a little bit side by side. I'm shifting my weight between my feet, and then seeing if Sharyl will respond, which she does, which is fantastic. It means kind of I have her attention and we are on the same page with our movement. I will just add, after this dance, I Shazammed the song later on after I saw the video, and it wasn't on any of my West Coast Swing playlists, and I messaged Sharyl and I said, did you know this song before you danced? And she said, I think I've heard it. And I was kind of the same. I think I heard it. Neither of us really knew the song well. I have a sneaking suspicion this might be on Emmeline's playlist on Spotify, which I have access to. So I may have heard this from her playlist in the past. Anyway, neither of us are that familiar with the song, and so we're kind of figuring it out as we go. So with that walk, I will say that there's times when I will dance very openly, being what Jakub and Emmeline call an ocean level connection. So that's where I give my follower as much freedom as they want. So I might invite them to walk, but I'm not sending them with one of my hands. I'm not sending them with the connection. And visually, and from the connection, they will feel an openness to take a moment. And that's what Sharyl did with this walk, which was awesome. So again, it kind of established at the beginning, we're connected, we're moving, and now you have the opening to play and do what you like, which is exactly what Sharyl did, which is fantastic. Now you might notice there, Sharyl on her turn, her finger sort of brushed my face and I kind of reacted. She straight away went, oh, and realized what had happened. This is one of those things, you're dancing with someone before, I may have been leaning in too much, unfamiliar, she's doing some hand styling. These things happen, dancing is a contact sport, what can you do? Either way, it wasn't anything to worry about. Sharyl just easily went, oh, sorry, and then she did a veil to kind of say, you're okay. I was fine, and then we continue. It's funny dancing near the edge of the floor there too, because you start to become conscious of the audience and your position, then also your other competitors. It's one of the things that as you're dancing socially, quite often it's just you, your partner, and the music, and it's a great way to dance. But when you add judges, cheering, and audience into the mix, as well as the competitors and the floor space that you've got, it just adds more things for you to be aware of during the dance. And so I would generally say that competition dancers, unless it's a spotlight, but on a shared dance floor, they're not always the best dancers that you'll have. And another reason why you may tone down some of the things that you may do socially or when you have free range on a dance floor. That was a nice bit of play by Sharyl to sort of instigate that sugar push, which was very open. Just on this, there's something that when I dance with Amanda, she's told me before that every follower has their capability with turns and spins. And so after a turn or a spin where I'm doing several, in most cases in competitions, unless I know the person I'm with, I won't do more than 2 turns in a row. And with a 1 foot spin, I'll leave it open for them to actually exit, unless I choose to exit because of some music. But if they only want to do 1 or 2, that's fine. But because some dancers, like one of the dancers I dance with regularly, they have some issues with vertigo or dizziness, and they have a little bit of instability. A good tip if you're a leader is if you do lead a double turn is to just settle and don't do anything crazy after the double turn. Allow your follower to kind of breathe, find themselves. I'm not sure that this was applicable in this particular dance, but this is why I will rock back into just shifting my weight and moving and resettling and then reestablishing an anchor stretch and then going from there. Again, the crowd is on my mind there because I felt the foot on the back of my leg. Now this music, this is something that I don't think I did very well. I heard the change, I knew it was coming. We settle into a bit of a stretch connection, and at this point, visually, I'm looking at Sharyl and she's going to play with the music, which is great, which is what she does there. But it was 4 counts, right? And at the start of the dance, she did a 4 count walk on her own, and I just waited. And in this case, I had the connection. She did 2 count walk, and then I brought her into a closed position. But there were still 2 counts left, which leaves us in this awkward spot where it's like, oh, I'm going to fill this 2 counts with some knee pops, basically. Whereas I should have really just taken my time, breathed a little, relaxed, and allowed Sharyl to play with those 4 counts and just walk in again. It would have really matched what we did at the start of the dance. So again, we do the walk. Now I know a break's coming and I want to get in position and set Sharyl up for a dip. Hit the phrase change. Something cool is I can see the judge in the background. One of the judges was watching this whole sequence, and when they saw that we hit the phrase change, they looked at their scorecard and whatever else. Later on, having a look at the scorecards, I can tell that that judge was judging me, leaders, and gave me a yes to go through to the finals. So hitting the phrase change is important, listening out to that, and especially when you're a little unfamiliar with the song, it can be a big plus. And that's really it. So you don't have a whole lot of time to do much in the dance. I would say Sharyl's fantastic. She's got so much style. She's got a great connection. She's really attentive. I had a lot of fun in this dance. We both ended up making finals, which was great. So if you do watch this, Sharyl, thanks very much for being an awesome dance partner in the Swingsation competitions. And I hope we get to do it again sometime in the future. One of the things that I hear regular feedback, I hear people making comments about judging, or the judging's biased, or I hear people talking about how they did do well or they didn't do well, and the way that they feel about their own performance. I hear people who are super disappointed, like heartbroken level, if they don't make finals. And they feel really bad, especially if they've been putting in work and training. There's a few things that I have to say about that in general, and take this with a pinch of salt. But when it comes to judging, at the end of the day, you're judged on such a small window of time. There's a few different dancers, there's a lot of different people to look at, and perhaps in some cases you might have danced really well, but you may have also gotten off time, which I was in one section of this dance as well. I was off time. And if the judge happened to see that one portion and they were simply scanning the room really quickly on the first dance to see who was on time and who was off, I might have got a no from that judge. But if they saw the rest of my dance, they might have just said, okay, and then swung through and gone, who's off time, I can mark them out. And then on the second song or third song, they might be looking at a different criteria to see who they can eliminate from their list. It's such a small moment of time, so it's very difficult, I think, as a dancer and as a competitor to put yourself in that spot and say, well, I think I did well, I think I deserve to go through. And you may see a field of people that goes through, and you might feel like, oh, I consistently kind of dance better than them. I was kind of surprised that they made it and I didn't. All of those things can happen. What I will say is this, is that a competition is filled with so much luck because of the random nature of a Jack and Jill. You've got a random partner, you've got a random song, you may have never danced with that partner before, and you may have never heard the song before. In the same competition, you might find that another couple knows each other and dances with each other every week, and they knew all the songs. It's really simple. When that happens, they have a added advantage. And so for me, I no longer, I haven't even been to 10 competitions. I think Swingsation was my 8th or 9th comp that I've been to. But my perspective really is no longer about winning or making finals, although they're nice. And it's, I'd like to dance well. At the end of the day, I'm competing against people and I have no control over who those people are, how long they've been dancing, how good they are versus me. I just have zero control. I have no control over my partners and no control over the music choice. And in fact, I don't know that I've ever been in a final where I've known the music so far. And I try to listen to as many competition music lists that I can find. But it's super rare if I get into a final, and I don't think it's ever actually happened where I've known the song. So what I would also say is when I feel the sting of failure, for example, not making finals, I know that when that's happened, it's kind of a bit crushing, and you trying to figure out, well, what did I do? And I think likewise, I've made finals and I've done really well. And then I've also thought, gee, I didn't think that dance was that great. And yet I won or I came second or something. And you're like, it kind of messes with your equilibrium and your sense of what's, where the value is of what's being judged. What I would say simply is this, that nowadays when I go to comps, including this competition, what I do is I dance within my own ability and I judge myself based on how I feel I danced within my ability. And that's it. I will walk away with the competition whether I succeed or fail, and my feeling will be in response to how I felt that I danced. So in all of these prelims, I felt like I danced on a similar level to my capability. In some cases, I feel like I went slightly above my capability in the prelims. And so when I walked away from the prelims, I thought, you know what, they were good dances. If I do well and I make finals, awesome. But if there's other dancers who dance better than me, I can walk away happy knowing that I danced to my level. Where I suppose I get most disappointed is when I dance beneath my level and my natural ability. And that kind of baseline, if I don't dance to the baseline, then I feel I get most disappointed, regardless of the judges' results. I think I came second in a comp last year, and I did not feel deserving at all. I thought I danced well below my ability, but again, my follower may have done, much more and carried me through, and it may have also been the competition that I was up against that day, and maybe a couple of things that they did that wasn't as good as something that I did in that moment of time or that window of time when the judges saw it. So I think if I walk away knowing, I did my best and, I consistently danced to my level, you can take that away and just bank on it and then just grow from there. There's a lot of adjustment that needs to happen to you and your partner. You may not be dancing the same love language. Someone may have more attention and focus on themselves or the music, and you might be focusing more on them or something else, and that imbalance in that random window of time may just be the difference between success and failure in terms of the judges' scorecards. But at the end of the day, what I would say is if you're going to a competition, don't worry about the judges, don't worry about who you draw. There's always going to be disparity between you and your partner. Even if you dance with someone you know really well, you may not have the same dances that you would have back home. Just keep that in mind, and I would say keep growing, keep putting yourself out there, keep attending, and just enjoy the moment and let the results fall where they fall. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are about competitions in general. If there's anything that I've missed, or if there's any advice you want to give me as well, I would love to hear it. I love it when people send me messages. I get messages sometimes through Facebook or Instagram from people that I've never met from all over the world. And we have these cool dance conversations because we're all crazy about West Coast swing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.